Hey you dorks, this is Gunnar Hansen, Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you are listening to The Dorkening.
Hi, I'm Brian Johnson, and although you probably accidentally stumbled across it and have no idea why you're watching it, you are in fact watching The Dorkening.
Hello, this is Tom Kenny, voice actor. The voice of the Ice King on Adventure Time. And SpongeBob SquarePants. Ah, meow. Oh, Gary the Snail, too. Hey, guess what you're filling your eye holes and ear holes with? The Dorkening! Oh, I love The Dorkening. Very popular in Ooh. And Bikini Bottom.
Hi, I'm Lou Ferrigno. You're watching The Dorkening. And you know what? You don't like me when I get angry, so don't get me angry. You better keep watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, this is Felissa Rose, and you're watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, it's Courtney Palm. We're shooting Death House, and you're watching The Dorkening.
This is Anthony Michael Hall, and you're watching The Dorkening. Stay tuned. My friend's going to show you what entertainment's all about, baby.
The Dorkening.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. Let me start that again. You're watching Splash Pages. We got an awesome show scheduled for you. That's all, folks. Velvet Joker, how's it going?
Started. It's going well. Well, I think it's going well. We're having technical difficulties. Theo's glitching already.
Yeah. Gotta clock me on the head. Drew, how's it going?
It's fine. Are you okay?
No, I'm not.
I knew it.
Okay. We're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff today, but before we get into that, I want to know, how are you guys doing? How's life treating you? You guys reading anything good?
Okay. Everything's okay.
Hey.
It was my birthday. My birthday passed.
That is awesome.
Yes, half a century.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I had a wonderful meal, home-cooked meal made for me.
Nice.
I had some delicious edibles and a lovely chocolate cake accompanied by fresh raspberries.
Was the chocolate cake also part of the edible family, or was it just...
No.
That's a legit question.
It was Whole Foods.
Oh, okay.
Triple chocolate cake.
Dear God.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, the guy went in.
There's still a little bit left in the fridge, so after the show, I'm going to be polishing half of that off.
Makes sense. That guy knows what he's talking about right there.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
a good time was had by all.
Well, I'm very happy for you. Sounds like you had a blast.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Drew, you took a little vacation.
Yep. Went to Lake Placid for a couple of days, swam in a couple of lakes, kayaked, didn't capsize, did not see a single gigantic gator, and climbed up a mountain and then ended up on the wrong side of it, so had to walk back. So that was an overall 10-mile walk that I would like to not have to deal with. Yeah, no. View was great, but that walk back kind of killed some of that enthusiastic glow. Yes, but it was much needed, and now I'm back, and the universe is like, oh, you had a little break? You had a little break? All the things you need to get done.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, God, kill me now.
Angela,
your holiday week there, Mr. Leo.
Doing okay. And Drew, I totally get you. You take a little time off and then you come back, and it's just like everything just hits you all at once. It's I'm taking a little time off myself, just a little staycation, and just trying to decompress a little bit because work's been a bit stressful. But it's yeah. Other than that, doing okay.
How's the ticker?
Ticker's great. Yeah, it's no chest pain. So it's I finished taking my blood thinners, so I don't have to worry about like bleeding out if I like cut myself. And but I'm still on the it's the low pressor. It like keeps my heart rate at like a constant like 60 something. It's magical stuff. It's crazy.
Okay.
So, yeah. Other than that, I'm doing great.
Drew, you missed an incredible interview that we did with Bob Lee the other day.
Oh, how was it?
That was it was 15-20 minutes of Bob Levy, and the rest was the Leo Pond show.
Oh, wow.
It was all Leo. We have no idea, Drew. Leo is the snake master.
Whoa.
He's just imagine him spinning double full-sized axes at snakes.
Wow.
This is our captain.
That's you just behind all those Star Wars toys is a man of mystery and darkness.
I tried so hard to keep the show on schedule, but Ben and you kept on, bringing it towards the snakes, and it was just.
They loved it. Everyone loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah, it did turn into a great show, and I definitely took a lot of heat, but I enjoyed it. But yeah, Drew, you didn't know I lived in a snake-infested house for a bit.
No, there's still so many things I don't know about either of you, besides the fact that you're nerds and that somehow you wanted me on this show. That's the only two things I needed to know. But as we go along, naturally, like all superhero comics, the stories will evolve and intersect, and eventually we might, what the fuck? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
What Leo? Why? Okay, some people hang Christmas lights. Some people hang confetti and
Yeah.
the stuff from the rafters. You hang snakes?
No,
No,
that is where I beheaded it.
You behead. Okay, what did you watch the movie Anaconda and decided that suddenly that was your life? You know?
Okay, so nobody lived in this house for quite some time. It was our old farmhouse, and the
Okay,
snakes.
what were you? Whoa! What were you doing there?
It was my family's old farmhouse, and
Okay.
I moved back from Florida, and Angela says it was a warning to the other snakes.
Yeah.
Did you lose a bet? Is that why you came back? Did you feel like were you searching for buried treasure? I just don't like they start horror movies off like this, Leo.
You know, my life took a little downturn back in 2012, and I was actually, you know, very thankfully my mom let me stay in the old farmhouse, but essentially I was like homeless for a little bit, and it was you know, just I came back, and just the house was infested with snakes. And
the history also, Leo, is what you're omitting is that you grew up with this.
Yes.
Dad would throw gasoline down holes to burn snakes out. So you've lived with these snakes.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was always a snake issue. But
see, Drew, look at this, Drew. See, this is Leo. He's lived through nightmares. There's a well in the back full of snakes, Leo, Drew. Full of snakes. A well. Imagine a well filled with fucking snakes that size.
I can believe that. I've seen Indiana Jones. I've seen an entire chamber full of snakes. Here's my question to you, Leo, and this is a question of intelligence right now. Why the fuck would you take something that could be dangerous and light it on fire?
Okay, I did not light it on fire. Okay,
no.
That was Dad. That was Dad.
It was my dad. Okay, so what happened was we, you know, growing up, there was a, and if you want more of the story, definitely tune into the interview from last week.
No, I will.
Okay, so there was, he found a nest of copperheads, and you know, he wanted to get rid of them, so he poured gasoline down the snake holes and then ignited it, and there was snakes coming up, twisting, all caught on fire. And
oh my god, I can't deal with this.
I can never get enough of this story, and we need to put Leo Pond Snake Master.
Yeah. Leo.
So when I moved back, so rat snakes will actually eat a copperhead. And the house was, you know, the whole area was actually, you know, there's plenty of rat snakes everywhere. So there's not really no copperheads in the area. But I don't know if there was a nest underneath the house or whatever, but the house was infested. I was killing about a dozen a summer.
A summer what? A summer day? A summer?
Well, throughout the summer, you know, whenever I heard them rustling about, I'd hunt them down and I'd dispatch them.
You would dispatch them?
Yeah.
Okay.
With an axe.
Because Leo is the best there is at what he does.
Okay. There are so many things I need to say right now, and you need to hear all of them. Number one, why the fuck would you take something that's dangerous, that can kill you, or that has fangs, okay, and light it on fire? Okay, we learned this in arachnophobia. If there's one thing more dangerous than a killer spider from Venezuela, it's a killer spider that's on fire. Okay, number two, okay, where were the adults? Because who let Leo go around with an axe just chopping off snakes? Okay, like, you know, Leo wakes up, puts on his pants, eats a bowl of Wheaties. What the hell? Like, you know.
Okay, so when I moved back from Florida, I didn't know.
No. I don't need the origin story. Save it for the comic, okay? What I need to understand here is very simple, is that among the many skills that you have, Nerd Boy, okay, you can now add Snake Killer to one. Are you going to be an Indy 5 now? Protecting?
Snake Assassin.
I'm sorry, Snake Assassin. Okay. Okay. I need to understand and clarify this because I feel some of our viewers who maybe have not been around long enough to deal with our idiocracy need to understand this. So what you're telling me, besides the fact that today I already heard Chris's Spider-Gwen sex escapades.
Oh yeah,
which
that's oh my
never
God.
getting out of my head.
Yeah.
And now Leo Pond Snake Wrangler, like Rich, what do you got? Like I'm kind of wondering.
Simple clown. I'm just a simple clown.
Oh my
Trying
God.
to have a good time.
Oh my God. I'm astounded. I feel like I have to like do something really crazy now, like get in a fight with a dancing bear. Like we've created this dumb one-upmanship of stupidity, and it's fantastic. like what?
If you want, I'm sure the snakes are still there. I can let you.
No. First of all, I am not scared of snakes. Okay, if you're talking about killing spiders, I'm marking down that farmland is never going there because that's just
that
nightmares.
farmland is for sale, Drew. We need to film the greatest horror movie of all time.
What is it? So instead of snakes on a plane, it's snakes on the land.
Snakes in the house.
Snakes in the house.
Yeah.
And the nerdy boogaloo.
Yeah.
Leo there with 2 axes. Get these goddamn motherfucking snakes out of my goddamn motherfucking house.
It's gonna be like Zombieland, but with snakes. He's just gonna be Tallahassee. He's just, hold on. All right. Snake killing time, bitches. Okay. Thank you. That was a wonderful. I have nothing else. Anything I have in my life right now is not important right now. That was important. Thank you, Rich, for addressing that. Thank you.
I'm glad I was able to bring it along just a little bit further, Leo. I'm sorry about your personal child trauma.
It's okay.
But it's so fucking entertaining. I can't stop myself.
I'm glad I entertain you, and it's as long as everybody enjoys the story, it's
Yeah, and I have great respect for you now. I would never fuck with you, that's for sure.
Yeah, because it's gonna be like The Godfather. Instead of a horse head in the bed, it's just gonna be a bunch of goddamn snakes.
Yeah, copperheads and what's that big black rat snake?
Yeah. Exactly. You're gonna have all that, and Pond sends his regards.
Actually, instead of the horse head, we could do the bull head.
That's right, because the bull that dragged you along the farm as well.
Yeah. Oh my God, no! Save it for the next episode, please.
Oh my! Okay. You didn't hear that story either?
No, I didn't. No. You
all right. Another time. Because we have to talk about
Spawn.
Drew Malo's pick, the great Todd McFarlane's.
Oh my God.
Spawn.
Well, before we get into that.
Oh no!
Yeah, we need to travel. Back to 1992.
Right. Gotta do the magic.
We have a little magic. Here we go.
Let's do this.
Okay, you know what time it is. It's time to get this sucker up to 88 miles per hour and travel back in time. Picture Sicily, 1992. Okay, so in 1992, a young Leo Pond was graduating tech school, certified in electronics. Presidents Bush and Yeltsin proclaim an end to the 45-year Cold War. And very sad, Johnny Carson leaves The Tonight Show after 20 years. The compact disc surpasses cassette tapes as the medium as we all switch to CD. No more getting the pencil out trying to fix the tape. Damn, that sucked. Okay, so a text-based web browser is made available to the public, and a 16-year-old Tiger Woods is the youngest player ever to play in the PGA. He missed a cut, but we all know how that played out. Also, movie tickets cost about $4.15. In 1992, we paid that price to go see Michael Keaton suit up again in Batman Returns. But you know what? We all really know what we went to go see. We went to go see Michelle Pfeiffer dress up in that leather cat suit. Mr. Pink told us, I don't tip because society says I have to.
I don't tip because society says I have to.
and Quentin Tarantino's hit The Reservoir Dogs. Absolutely loved that movie. Also that year, we saw Lethal Weapon 3, Home Alone 2, and Aliens 3, a slew of sequels that kind of sucked. In television history, Batman the Animated Series.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman. You're watching The Dorkening.
And X-Men the Animated Series both debuted. Also, We Laughed Mad About You and Ab Fab. Also, us dorks really needed to see Highlander every week. Absolutely loved that show. And if you were a kid in 1992, Saturday mornings were still a thing. You were able to watch Captain N the Game Master, Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters, Alf Tales, California Raisins, Camp Candy, Beetlejuice, and The Karate Kid. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little travel back to 1992. We have refueled Mr. Fusion, set our time circuits to 2021, and we are now back. I want to thank you all for indulging my my inner Sophia, and I hope you got a kick out of this. But here we go. We're going to talk about Spawn. Okay, I apologize.
That was fantastic.
Man, it was a bit cheesy.
Want one every week.
Oh, I'm back. I'm sorry. Time jumps.
Ready?
Jeremy says, "Damn, I'm getting old."
Hey, listen, I was dealing with Angela. She was like, "Drew, it's too much for Drew," and I'm like, "Yes, it was." Yeah. The snake wrangler pond over here.
Yeah.
All right. So it's funny actually because I was gonna do for Spawn. I was actually gonna do a little Sophia intro. So
go for it.
Okay, hold on. So hi, I'm Drew, and let me take you back to 1992, a distant land in comics. Picture Marvel Studios. A bunch of talented artists are tired of doing work and getting little recognition while the characters that they help create make super money, and they say, "Where's our cut?" And Marvel's like, "Nope, you're work for hire. You don't get shit. Okay, but what we give you." And they're like, "Nay." But not horses, nay. They decide they want more. So they decide to form a company of their own. And they take their talent and they become Image Comics. Because, it's got to have comics in it. And one of those people is TODD McFARLANE. You probably know him as one of the guys who made Spider-Man look extra cool with the big arms and the webbing under the armpits and, webbing that looked kind of like spaghetti, but as webbing. Jeremy, the week was wonderful. Thank you for asking. But back to my story. And then he decided he had a vision. He was going to take his character Venom, make it from hell, and give it a cape. And he was going to call it Spawn. And here we are.
Well done. Well done.
Yes, thank you.
Bravissimo.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Having met Todd, I can say one thing. That man is definitely Canadian. So.
Oh, he is Canadian.
Yes, he is. You can know because God does he always talk about hockey in these comics. Oh. So, Spawn. Yes. Spawn. I will say this. Spawn has always been one of my top 10 favorite comic book characters. And I can't get enough. And it's funny because I've been teased a little bit by some of my friends for that because they're not fans of McFarlane and whatnot. Get that out of here. But I love Spawn. I mean, it very much is a character of the 90s. This was an age of, I believe they described this as the 90s was an age of excess. Okay. Everything was extra grunge. Everything was, you had to have more. The shoulder pads, bigger. The guns, bigger. The pouches, more. Are they full of anything? Who knows? You never know, but you got the pouches for it.
Don't forget, you got the pants, the parachute pants. They were.
Oh yeah,
that was more 80s though.
Yeah, but they tried, and then you had everybody's super buff, and the women are super thin to the point where that is not humanly possible. And then Spawn is just the best representation. I mean, if you look at him, chains, capes, the colors, just the style. Everything. It's so 90s, but it's just great. So, you know, and then especially the character was allowed to evolve. I mean, he's still published today. I mean, how many 90s characters are still going today, and they're still essentially being written by their creator? I mean, I think the only one I can think off the top of my head that's still doing that is, again, another Image character, Savage Dragon by Eric Larson.
Yeah.
You know, he's still doing it. You know, and that's impressive because, you know, that's a long time. So, but I know I'm not the only fan. I know Rich said that he read these way back in that heyday.
Yes.
So
it was great to redo it. Last night I spent 2+ hours reading the first 2 trade paperbacks to refresh my memory. And just some of the splash pages are just so beautiful. I mean, his art on in this comic book is just phenomenal.
Yeah, totally. Like, and it's like some like looking back on it, some like, but like some of the images are just so good. Like he just drew brooding characters so well. Like just this image right here, look at that. That detail is gorgeous, you know? And it's just so amazing because you think about this, like, yeah, you've had characters like Ghost Rider or others making deals with their version of the devil, Mephisto. But this is a legit demon. This guy sold his soul to go back to the land of living for his wife. You know, there's something noble about it. And it's just, again, it's just so good. So I don't, I mean, I could gush the entire time, but you two are here. So, you know, I don't want to just hear myself talk.
Absolutely. And it was Leo's first time ever reading this.
Yes.
So I have like the first 3 issues, and I must have read them back in '92 when I first got them. But I haven't touched Spawn since.
Okay.
But yeah, you know, so basically going into this as a first read, absolutely fucking loved it. Just Todd McFarlane's art just adds just another dimension to it that it's intangible. You know, it's hard to explain, but it just, you know, his art adds to the story itself. I mean, the writing was great to begin with, but just, you know, his artwork, every panel just, you know, tells so much. It's just friggin' amazing.
It very much has a cinematic kind of move to it. Yeah. You know, everything is very concise and everything. And he really does unconventional use of it. And Jeremy, I totally agree. Like, I cannot recommend to anyone who's a Spawn fan, the HBO series in the 90s was brilliant.
Yeah. Jeremy says, talk about an amazing transition from comic to animation.
100%.
And Angela says, I only have the comics that are Angela and Spawn.
Still great, Angela. Still great. Your namesake is still great. So, yeah, it's just awesome. Like this first thing, he literally saves a woman from essentially being raped, most likely beaten, raped, and then killed. And she ends up cradling him. Like, it's such a thing that you don't see in superhero. I mean, you're used to seeing the hero, buff, bad guy. No thanks needed, ma'am. Away. Like, this guy is still putting together his life. Well, his afterlife in this case. But yeah. Like, yeah.
And in these scenes here, you know, at this point in the beginning, he has very limited, only flashes of his memory. But the most vivid thing is the image of his wife, which you can see on the left-hand panel.
I don't even know who the hell she is.
I think that's a great storytelling element as well, because, you know, we're learning about the character at the same time he's relearning his life. And yeah, it's just amazing.
And then you had these newscasters. It was a really great way to talk about current events going on from our perspective. And you just had, wonderfully, you had CNN, you had E, and then you had the last guy who is always one of my favorites because every time you saw him, he's always on a different network because he's so unafraid of what he's saying. You assume he got fired and rehired somewhere else. Like,
Well, he could be like an analyst that, well, nowadays like one analyst like sticks to a news thing, but he could have been like an analyst or an expert jumping from station to station.
Yeah, but I think Todd said that's kind of what he was trying to go for. I mean, either way, it's still great.
Yeah. Jeremy says the villains were true villains in the first few issues, like really evil dudes.
Oh yeah. I mean, especially like within the first 3 issues, not only do you establish a lot of the major players, but you establish one of the most iconic villains Spawn ever had. You have the clown, the Violator. You have him, and then you have Malbolgia, who, you think is a pretty big deal. And then as Spawn goes along, you realize that he is but one demon in hell.
The Violator, that was John Leguizamo in the movie, right?
Yes. Correct. Although I got to say, I think the Violator in the HBO series was 100% scarier and just so much more of an asshole. But like look at this guy. Like, he just can't shut the fuck up. He does not want to hear himself talk. And you got to admire him, because you'd think, oh, let me just kick this fat tubby clown's ass, and then he does his thing, and they're like, oh, I withdraw the statement. And then this is just typical comics. I mean, how many times have you seen Daredevil do the same goddamn pose on a cross? Brooding comic book character. So,
but not with chains and a living cape.
True story. And then you got the Violator here, pulling people's hearts out, like a true monster. I mean, look at that thing. That is just gross. Yeah, Angela, totally find the series. Honestly, you cannot. I'm sorry. Anytime I hear Spawn, don't remember, Michael J. White did a great job as Spawn, despite limitations. But Keith David as the voice of Al and Spawn, I still hear it. Like, oh my God, he just nailed it. That the way that he can be serious but pissed. Exactly. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah, Leo, we need to add that to the library.
I can do that. Angela, just so you know, it's on HBO, seasons 1, 2, and 3.
Yep. The first one is still the best, because the second and third one, they start to deviate a little bit. But the first one is literally, I'd say, the first 4 or 5 issues. Actually, no, I like the first 6, because it deals with, you see Billy Kincaid, Sam and Twitch, and you see Overkill. So, oh yeah, this. He freaks out because
he's still exploring his powers, and then he thinks he's like, let me transmute myself.
Yeah, I'll just go back and meet my wife. And he looks at the next page. Yeah, next page, he just looks at himself and he says, "Definitely flip the next page, Leo."
Yep.
It's like, holy crap, I'm white. I was like, I'll take these things that could not be done now in comics for $200, Alex. Thank you. And then you can't. I'm sorry. Like, I've seen cop couples, like cop duos before. Few people are better than Sam and Twitch. I mean, Sam is just the tubby, no nonsense, says whatever, and then Twitch is just the thin, just yes, sir. Again, it's another relationship that's just perfectly done in the animated series.
It just hit me. Do you think Sam and Max were based off of Sam and Twitch?
It wouldn't surprise me. Because it kind of makes sense. But and then another thing, and Rich, you've read this, like the pacing is great. Like, you get everybody's story moving at the same time. But it all works. You know what I mean? Like,
and there's a lot going on in those 10 issues. There's a lot of things that are happening.
Yeah. Everyone gets established. You see how everyone is connected, and it's great.
And oh my God, Billy Kincaid.
Yeah, that guy's. I'm sorry. I don't know if it was the way. I don't like. First things first. This first fight with Violator and Spawn was just awesome. You know, I mean, right to the point where he rips Spawn's heart out, and it's just like he's holding it, and Spawn is like, okay, let's try this again, and Violator's like, whoa, who said you could do this? Like he has such disdain for humans, you know. Oh yeah, then this. Oh God.
Let me introduce you to my Caucasian friend.
Yeah. Hey. And then they literally made that a thing. Like everything was always explained in Spawn, which is something I like, because it never was just like, oh yeah, that thing. We never went back to that. Everything's explained. You didn't have to like it, but they did explain, like, oh, why would Spawn suddenly turn into someone else when he's trying to go back to Wanda? Oh, well, I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys because you got to keep reading, but yeah, like this, like he spazzes naturally. And then you have Violator come in. It's like, oh, let me show you some stuff. Oh, you know, and then, yeah, like, look at that. And then you have like the best moment where Spawn is like, yeah, it's my turn. And he's missing his heart, man. Look at that page. That is just gorgeous.
That's insane.
Right? Look how beautiful that is. You know? And then
not happy about that at all.
No, he's not. And then the entire fight is essentially, it could just be straight up carnage, which is what it turned into. And then Malbolgia himself shows up and is just like, okay, you two are both acting like children. So daddy's here to spell this out for you dumbasses. And I was like, wow. Like look at this. Like the action just moves, you know, so well. But I'm sorry. I feel like there were a lot of villains in Spawn, but very few. I have to be, Rich, I agree with you. Very few have freaked me out the way Billy Kincaid did. Like, dear God, that man just like, I don't know if it was the way Todd drew him or just his story, but yo, that freaked me out.
All of it was it's the stuff of nightmares.
It really is.
It's the pedophile killer.
Also, how funny is that the Violator gets punished, but he can't turn back, and he's just bitching, and Spawn just like, okay, I'm just gonna leave your fat ass here to just deal with it. You know, like it's just so good. Thank you, Angela. It's gorgeous. Yeah, Todd did not really abstain from. He wasn't very much a man of few words. His stuff was very text heavy. I mean, I still think the person who uses the most text in any panel was Brian Michael Bendis, but you know. But yeah, Jesus, this.
Yeah, look at the amount of text just on that page alone.
Yeah, and it's just Billy's face. You know, but it moved. You know, it moved well because it gave you all information. But yeah, this shit, Billy's. Oh God. You know what kind of reminded me of? Do you guys remember? You guys read Dark Knight Returns, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember how like the Joker was clearly still insane, but everybody's like, no, he's fine, he's cured. Yeah, we're gonna take him on talk shows, and it all backfired. It's literally what I thought here. Like, I felt so like, you know why it's so creepy? It's because anytime it has to do with kids, there's just that extra level of creep. Like,
yeah, he's got like a collage here of little kids' fingers that he just glued to a piece of paper.
Oh no, that was creepy, but when the makeup that got me, I was like, oh, that I'm sure he's wearing the kid's hair. I was like, no, and then you have that juxtaposed with Cyan, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, oh God, why, you know? And then you had the drunks, you know. Like you just enjoy that. That became Spawn's kind of surrogate family.
Yeah, hanging out with the homeless guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some funny moments there.
Yeah.
But and then that you had the connection that Spawn, that Kincaid was a Spawn like unfinished business, and he remembered it, and he was like, okay, I gotta wipe this off of my ledger, you know. And it's one killer versus a killer, and like, geez, like this creeped me out. But like, I don't know, like that image right there, I think still haunts me.
I had that toy for quite a while. I sold it just 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a great toy. It looks exactly like that. It's his big, fat, bloated body just chained up with ice cream pops coming out of his mouth. And
I mean, you know, the best part is that literally that moment right there just changed everything for Sam and Twitch, because that literally drew them right into Spawn's like warpath. It was crazy.
Yeah, Drew, the line of beautiful toys that came out of this series.
Oh, they were gorgeous.
Oh, it was just phenomenal.
I never owned a single one, but I've like always wanted to just have one Spawn figure. It was just so hard for me to choose which one.
Yeah, they're amazing.
I do. So when this came out, I was working at a video game store, and we started getting in all the Spawn toys.
Right.
And I picked up a couple, and I still have 2 of them. I do have Spawn. He's like in a kneeling pose with his cape flowing, and like the chain. It was crazy at the time, like an actual real chain.
Right.
And there was this green guy that had he looked like the Hulk. He was all green, and he had these like metal things coming out of his head, like octopus type stuff.
From Spawn.
It was a McFarlane character. I don't know if it was from Spawn or not.
Okay, because I'm thinking like I'll come back to that, because that's it. But then, you know what's so crazy is, I don't know if you guys know this, but there was Stan Lee used to do this thing where he'd have like a talk show, and he had artists on every once in a while, and they would talk about things that were in characters and whatnot. There was an episode where it was Todd, Stan, and Rob Liefeld, and they essentially created Overkill. Like then and there. I'm sure you could look it up on YouTube and watch it. It is the craziest thing, because like you watch it and you're like, okay, so this guy gets to meet Stan Lee, but he still can't draw feet. Like the justice in the world, man. I mean, don't get me wrong, feet are horrible to draw, but like Jesus. Yeah, but Rob and Stan kind of like had the idea.
This guy. But it's not green. I was off on the Creech.
Okay. Who?
He's called Creech.
Oh yeah, he's from. I think I know. It's a later storyline. I know who he is. Yeah. But yeah, Overkill. Like just great. Again, another villain in the Spawn series. Like the Mafia would have their own personal cyborg, right?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and then this guy here, Tony Twist. I don't know if you know this, but there you go, Angela. I'm glad you do. Malbolge in a box, demon in a box. That's pretty funny. Tony Twist was there was a lawsuit because there's a Canadian hockey player whose name is essentially kind of that, and he sued Todd for the likeness, and I think he won out of court. So be careful when you base your characters off real people, kids, because someone might sue you.
Change their name more.
Indeed. Oh yeah, this scene was cool. He's just killing bums.
Yeah.
He's just killing bums, and before you know it, he was like, "Yeah, your friend's dead. Like, who sent you?" Go
It's also interesting in this series that they drop advertising for their other shows. Like they talk about the Wildcats and
the Young Bloods.
Young Bloods. I apologize. Young Bloods And
yep, they mentioned Savage Dragon, yeah.
So he's really trying to erect the world across all his platforms. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's funny because Overkill apparently was a Youngbloods villain. Like they referenced that he fought them and he thought Spawn was one of them.
Right.
So, the whole time. And you got to admit, like there's only like Spawn was outnumbered. Like he got lucky that when he damaged Overkill that it messed up his sensors because originally he was like, yeah, I can't use more of my power. I'm going to go back to hell. But this guy's going to fucking kill me. But he got lucky.
Do you remember, or do you know the history rather? Did those come out before Spawn? Did they kind of come out at the same time? What was the time frame of that?
I'm not really sure, to be quite honest, Rich, because there was a lot of back and forth there because they meant it all to be one consecutive universe, but they had a lot of problems with delays. Like, I know comic books trouble with delays. Because like Jim Lee's Wildcats had a little bit of an inconsistent schedule, and then the Youngbloods, the same thing. So there was a lot going on, and they were always trying to tie it into each other. Like there would be other characters, Youngbloods and whatnot, tied in. I want to say that they were all trying to come out around the same time to just establish this new continuity because they all took place in the same world. Wildcats, Youngbloods, Savage Dragon. It was all Image. It was all one universe. It was, eventually it kind of did its own thing.
Well, this was new I think Image was around, but this is sort of like when they had an influx of creators from Marvel, right?
Yeah, they're all Marvel people. And it was just so crazy because like some of those were we can list so many of those original Marvel people. And I guarantee most of them ended up working on Spawn. You had Eric Larson. Yeah, I think Rob Liefeld did some covers or pinups. Same with Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, all of these top-notch talent that were just tired of being freelancers and getting nothing for their characters. Yeah, and then this was awesome. Like Spawn loads up. He basically has enough firepower to take down like a small army, and he just levels Overkill. Like, holy shit, he just levels them. And he even does it without his mask. Like, look at that. That is just gorgeous.
Scraps left.
Oh, yeah. Like, that's one way to say to the mob, like, okay, I'm still standing. It's like Rorschach. It's like, your move.
I'm still standing better than I ever did.
And he takes
feeling like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. Sorry, my little Billy Joel homage. Sorry.
Billy Joel.
Elton John.
Elton John. I am sorry. See.
Oh man, but no, this is just great. Like, and just what I like is it's just a fun comic. Like, it's serious or not, but then I swear, like, Todd took the best direction. Then he had all these guest creators. I mean, this issue is still one of my favorites because of it's Alan Moore defining Spawn's hell. Like, amazing. The way that they did it. And we continue the story of Billy Kincaid. I mean, look at this. He looks terrifying. He's like the scariest hunter-gatherer in the world.
And he says it's nice knowing you can still kill things when you're dead. That's fucked up.
Mm-hmm. And then again, we saw each one, and it's so effortless. I mean, this is Alan Moore we're talking about, so It was so crazy just seeing we're still going through hell. Just the different levels. Like these faux angels.
And this image. I mean, this girl's practically naked.
Yeah, she's that's a European bathing suit at best. Like, I don't know what that's called, but you know what I'm thinking of. The Borat.
Angela says this isn't Spawn related, but I found a Ghostbusters animated T-shirt. I saw that and was yes, please.
Yes, please. Do it. Angela, yes. Buy it, wear it, love it, rock it. Boom. Sorry, back to Spawn. And then that's the one thing I love. You have Billy Kincaid, who's a walking nightmare, is terrified of Spawn. Like he's it's like Scarecrow being terrified of bats, so thus Batman scared the crap out of him. You know? And then you had you have another one. They disintegrate these dudes. This one is an entity that pretends to be Elvis.
Oh, wasn't that Violator Elvis?
Something like that. No, they were plebeian somethings. Like I don't know, but that was just creepy. Like I was like, oh god. But poor girl. I was like, god, giant spiders. But when he tried to strangle the little girl again, and then it ends up being one of the Violators' like brothers, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, the head just splits open.
Yeah, it just splits open, revealing that demon. I was like, yep. Like it's almost weird because you're happy you're seeing Billy Kincaid terrified because you're like, you're a monster. Like, and what I just enjoy is that you have this thing. He thinks he doesn't deserve all this. Like, what did you think was gonna happen? You know, like he's legit terrified. Did you think you were going to heaven? Because like, no. You know? Yeah, and it's just again more of TODD, you know, like look at the paneling, it's beautiful. It's not conventional in any way, shape, or form, but it's great.
Yeah, which level of hell would you like to dwell in, Billy Kincaid?
You know, it's funny. I kind of imagine him talking like he's a salesman because he's kind of selling hell. It's just like he's a perverse version of Virgil from Dante's Inferno. It was like, well, let's see. What would you like to be on level 2, level 3, 4, 5, 6? We don't go to that one level. No, we don't go to 7. You know, but level 8, that's the one for you, Billy Kincaid. And he gives him his own like Spawn symbiote. I'm like, oh, this is horrifying.
Yeah, I did not remember that at all.
Yeah, I did because later on he comes back to fight Spawn, and Spawn's like, you? And he's nothing. Always a loser. And I was saying to Leo about this scene, I'm sorry, I don't know why. He just looks so sad. And it's just so amusing to me. But I think for me, the fact that Alan Moore, for some reason, couldn't say shit. So he just says caca happens. I don't know why. Just something about that really made me laugh. Because he's done so much worse. You know, and then this one, Leo, you said this one was one of your favorites, right? The Angela medieval Spawn.
Yeah, we got a taste of medieval Spawn, and I definitely like this showing Spawn throughout the ages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was great.
Now, who wrote this? Is 9, right?
Yes, it's Neil Gaiman. He wrote this one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the famous
about Angels and Devils. Of course, he did.
Yeah, of course he did. Yeah, it's in the past. And look at how well it's being written on scrolls. Like this is textbook out of Sandman right here. You know.
I have to admit, I have not read Sandman.
Leo, if you have not read Gaiman comics, you have to read Gaiman books. They're amazing.
Amazing. I second that. And it's so funny because, like, don't get me wrong, I love Angela and I love Medieval Spawn, but the fact that this issue also introduced who would be one of the best and still most enduring Spawn characters, Cagliostro, was just great. But yeah, look at that. That is modest at best, that costume. Like you can see when that went back to Marvel, they're like, yeah, we're gonna need to fix that a little.
Edit that.
Yeah, we're gonna edit that. You know, I also enjoyed the fact that pretty much, Rich, correct me if I'm wrong. Again, it's been a while since I read a lot of Spawn. I've owned issues 1 to 275. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of the times the angels were usually shown as women, correct?
Yes.
You're right. Yeah, that was an interesting choice. You know, but
well, you're leaning toward Gaiman, who loves mythology, so you got your Valkyries and such.
I'm sorry. First thing, this was great because you have Cagliostro mentoring Spawn, and he doesn't even realize it. He's literally like, "Here, why don't you imagine this booze?" And Spawn does it, and he's like, "Oh, wonderful!" And then that little panel there was still one of my favorites because you have Elvis living with the bums in the background there. I was like, "Hey, King, it looks like you got married again." "No, sir, not me." I was just like, what? And then the same thing, like how Cagliostro knows Spawn is Simmons. He even called him that. I was like, "Yeah, Mr. Simmons." And he's like, "What? How do you know?" Like his face is just perfect. You know, and it's hard to show reactions through masks sometimes like that, you know?
Yeah, and he does it quite masterfully.
Yeah, seriously. So, yeah. And then, you know, you got the bureaucracy of heaven. You got to have a permit to hunt hellspawns, Leo.
Well, what I loved about this issue is I mean, obviously we've been dealing with demons, but it definitely, you know, obviously with a hell, there has to be a heaven. And, you know, seeing that, you know, there are those agents at play.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know what goes on after this, but just to give that little glimmer of hope that, you know, Spawn, you know, has somebody, you know, close to him that, you know, could assist him.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, it's an interesting relationship, and I speak as someone who watched it evolve over the years. Yeah, you got the bureaucracy of heaven.
Yeah, and they went 30 years, somewhere between 25 and 30 years of stories.
Oh yeah, so many. I just enjoy it. Is he short? Is Cagliostro short? Because he looks kind of short here. It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah,
is he tall?
He's lifting him up quite a bit.
Yeah, he is. But he's also kind of wearing like a weird robe cape thing going.
Yeah, but you see his feet hanging in this left panel.
Yeah, maybe. But, and then, yep, there's.
Yeah, look at that image of Angela right there. That's incredible.
Yeah, look at that. Artistically speaking,
it feels very Valkyrie-like. It's very Valkyrie inspired.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. I think that's exactly what they were going for. You know, and you can understand how that fit in when they when Gaiman brought Angela over to Marvel. You can understand how that would fit into the world of like Thor and stuff. I mean, she looks straight out of like Norse mythology with that shit.
Oh yeah.
I think the thing I enjoy is that Angela was a cocky hunter. She really thought like, I've killed a couple of Hellspawn and this is going to be easy. He's new, but Spawn surprised her. You know, like he really caught her off guard. It's just, again, he's so inexperienced. Like I was like, yeah, you don't touch a magical weapon. You have no idea what it is. Like, come on, dude. And Cagliostro even said that. He was like, yeah, don't touch that thing. And nope.
Well, you know, they don't always do the correct thing, and that's great to see too in a comic book because the hero has to sometimes learn lessons.
It's true. So I was telling Leo this before, Rich, but a lot of the later editions, like this one has it, but a lot of later editions actually didn't print issue 10 because the writer of it, Dave Sim, who created Cerberus, who is a well-known independent character, made that request. So he was simply honoring that. I don't know why. I mean, I love this issue. When I met Todd, I actually had 4 issues I brought for him, which was issues 1 to 3 of Spawn, and then this for him to sign. And it's just great. I mean, it's a wonderful issue, I think, about it's an issue that's really prevalent to Image, you know? Yeah, that's a good point, Angela. Like, this is about ownership and creatorship of comics. You know, you have the hooded creators bound by the legalese, and then you have the characters they created trapped, you know, not free. It's just it was a really scary kind of moment. I think the other great moment is moving forward. You see, Superman is talking to Spawn. You know, so it's just crazy. Like, you're getting encouragement from the first son. You know, he was one of the first original characters of DC. He wasn't the first, he was one of. But yeah, it's just such a weird issue, though. Like, what did you guys think going back to it?
Leo?
Well, it certainly threw me for a loop. You know, seeing like all the hands, I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
And then it just dawned on me. And then having, you know, even, you know, with all those iconic characters, just with just a subtle amount of art, you could easily tell who they were. And, you know, just like Superman saying, you know, I'm giving you all my powers. And to think of all these characters giving, you know, Spawn all their powers, and he becomes like godlike, and he still, you know, had no effect. I mean,
yeah.
And I striked no effect, none.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck? I mean, it's just.
And for me, the chilling moment was this, when he's just sitting there in the thing, and he just says Doomsday. I'm like, oh my God, like, great.
Look, and look at that crazy robe too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and then this was just like, I mean, you want to talk about making like a heated kind of criticism to comics. I mean, that's Justice, and it's Spawn's heart versus money, you know, and the Violator is in a dress made of dollar bills. Like, it's just, oh man, there's so much to unpack here. You know, but it's just great. And it was, again, because Spawn touched the staff and he got zapped away to some, I don't know, other world. It works, you know, because then the next issue, they're right back in the alley. So, you know, they did the, oh, it was only a dream. So,
well, to think of, you know, and I don't know what they went through, but, you know, for the artist for Todd to draw this and to sort of like speak, you know, against, you know, the big corporations, you know, where you know, they're stealing their property and whatnot, just to voice that through his art is just,
it's bold.
Yeah, and to think what they went through back then, you know, I'm sure things are not that well now, but, you know, to know that, like, at that time, the mass exodus from Marvel, and for them to actually like have a home to bring their passion and you know, have their passion rewarded, it was just a crazy time.
It was. It definitely was. And then you have, you know,
yeah, this got a little weird for me.
Yeah, if you don't know Cerebus, like, for me, it was a little strange, because the best part is essentially, which like is that Cerebus is there walking him, and then he basically takes him. Like, it's really sad. It took me years to realize what exactly this was. And I was just like, oh my God, he brought him to Todd's house because that's his daughter, Cyan. Like, the whole thing, I was like, wow.
Oh, wow.
How, like, crazy that is. Yeah. You know, that's Todd. I mean, no offense, the million hockey cards kind of gives it away, because Todd is a notorious collector.
Yeah, the whole thing, like that whole thing, and it was just wonderful. And then it just kind of ends. Like it's the perfect kind of thing that you can just see as it's just a really weird fucking dream. Yeah. And then this one, which is even funnier. I don't know if either one got to read this one. That's written by Frank Miller. So this is when Frank Miller was still good. Because we're not going to go with that now. We're not going to talk about that. Like this story was awesome to me. Just especially like he's like, what were you dreaming about? It's like a talking aardvark. I'm like, man, you got to lay off the booze, buddy. Like, goddamn, calm down. And then this whole thing is a giant. It's a gang war, with the bums caught in the middle of it. And look at that. And Spawn is just like, I'm done with y'all. Like again, somebody blows a goddamn hole through him, and he's just like, you idiots. It was great.
Starting to come into his own power wise.
Oh, totally. But oh my god.
But it's still so early in the story. Like we're not even talking about these people like in the general of hell or.
Yeah, exactly. Like but what I like about it? It's just again such a simple story. Like and he realizes like I can't take each one of you on, so I'm just going to pit you against each other. That's what you want. Like you guys are clearly, you're warring gangs. You're literally two alike thing. And what I enjoy is Spawn does his thing, right? Spawn does his thing, like the creeps or whatever the hell the other team was, where he does his thing and they believe his magic is a hologram. They're like, oh yeah, no, this can't be magic. This is science. And I'm like, what kind of city is this where you have well-armed techno geeks blowing chunks out of each other and nobody's going to be like, where are your parents? Like again, look at this. This is great. Like you don't need and then the crazy thing is if this was the age, we would waste so many panels showing all of that. You don't need to know it. It's just they obviously shoot the shit out of each other. And then next panel, look at that.
Bloodbath.
Exactly. But to me, this is one of my favorite endings of a Spawn comic because of what Al says to him. He's like, hey, big guy, let's play Alien. I was just like, oh my God. Like I was like, okay, well, I'm done. So I don't know how again, I've read all of these, so I can talk about them forever. I don't know how far either of you got. So
I didn't go past 10.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, well, we can stop then. Because 12 and 13 will go into we finally discover who really killed Al, leading to a confrontation. So, Rich, you probably read it ages ago. Leo,
I'm going to read it.
Add it to the queue, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I have the compendium now, and for anybody interested in getting the compendium, I do have a link in the show notes up above or down below. I think Amazon has it on sale for $53 right now.
Nice.
Absolutely. Nice. So, yeah, Spawn, a nice revisit to the 1990s of when a little company that could actually threatened both DC and Marvel.
Absolutely.
And
most crossover independent of all time.
Yep, and still going. And I would also like to recommend to anyone of readers, if you liked what you read of the Frank Miller thing, Frank did do a crossover with Batman that I believe Todd drew as well, that Frank wrote. I like it. I don't know how I feel about it. I liked it when I read it. Now I reread it. I find issues with Frank Miller's Batman, but that's, again, my opinions about Frank Miller. Still great.
Jeremy's asking how many issues in the compendium. It looks like 50. So it collects Spawn number 1 through 50.
Jeremy, just to give frame reference, the most recent number is 319. So yeah, the compendiums probably be about 50 a pop. So the first two compendiums would be about issues 1 to 100. So you get all of the early greats: Capullo, McFarlane, Silvestri, Tony Daniel did some artwork for it for a while. You get all the great issues, but primarily fans of New 52 Batman, this is where your boy learned how to draw dark and creepy shit. This is where Greg Capullo made a name for himself, was being one of the de facto Spawn artists. And when he stopped being one of the regular ones, everybody, he then was just the Spawn cover artist, which I think he was doing, God, he was up to like issue through, I want to say through 200s up to almost 300 maybe. Yeah. So, word. Yeah, it's a great series.
Very cool.
Make it gaps.
So I guess we got to do the crowbars. So.
We do. And Jeremy says, was just hoping for like 1 to 200 for 50. LOL.
Maybe one day, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Amazon used.
Yep. Hey, you get some good deals with that.
Yeah, actually, if you speak to Justin, who is also on a network, he has a place next to him that says half price books. So,
hey.
I don't know how many locations they have, but might be worth to inquire.
Worth traveling for to save a buck.
Oh, totally.
Yep. For some quality stories. So, crowbar time. So, who's going first?
Since this was your poll.
My book. All right. Again, there are very few books I'm still going to give 5 stars ratings. So I'm going to give this about, I want to say 4.5, 4.6. Crowbars. Again, you cannot argue, even criticize that TODD McFARLANE is a great storyteller, his artwork and everything. Yes, it's very dated, but it's still great. And honestly, if Spawn is the thing that he's remembered for the most in comics, totally worth it. Honestly, cannot stop recommending that to anybody. This is one of the best.
Awesome.
And I'm going to agree with him. I'm going to say 4.5 as well. The art, the storyline, the blood, the gore, the pacing, all great stuff. Not perfect, but clearly has told the history of time, and Spawn has persevered. So can't go wrong.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna even it out. It's 4.5 as well. Absolutely loved it, and I should have read this a long time ago. I was an idiot for not continuing to read Spawn when it first came out, because this was my era.
Yeah,
it's like you saw earlier. I was fresh out of high school, and I was
ready to kill some snakes.
God damn it! God damn it, Rich. I was gonna say that. No, actually, it's Leo. So listen, the best advice I can give you is less snakes, more Spawn.
Less snakes, more Spawn. Yeah. Actually, back then, that's when I decided to move into the Crystal Mall here in Waterford. I was a mall dweller for most of the 90s.
They're called mall rats, buddy.
Mall rats, yeah. But it was I
look for the sailboat. That's all I'm gonna say.
Never mind. I was just reminiscing about another story, but that's for another time.
And another dimension.
Welcome to the Dorkening.
So, Drew, where do you like people interacting with you on socials?
Oh, none of them. But for those who want to see if they can keep in touch with me, I'm Drew Malo on Facebook, Ghostbusters 1984 on Instagram. I'm here on the Dorkening. I do splash pages with these 2 comic book nincompoops, and I do the Spectacular Sal with Chris. I work with Screen Rant I'm a writer. I'm also going to start as a hiring associate for them. So I'm everywhere there. My other podcast, Strange Little Worlds, we're coming back. It's a true crimes, supernatural stories podcast that'll be out. That'll be back soon. And I'm doing a project for Chris. I'm very busy, so please, no drama. And if you have a deal, it better be good.
Well, if you need a home for that podcast, you always have a home here on the network. I can give you hosting and all that, but we can
Sweet.
chat. Velvet Joker.
Good evening. Good evening. Yes. Facebook, I am Rich Davis, known as formerly the CT Joker. But you can find me on Instagram at Velvet Joker 2021. And other than that, you can catch me here every Tuesday night. Every once in a while, you might catch me on the Dorkening regular, but always on the Splash.
Hey.
Awesome. For me, just Google Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. I'm not going to say which is which, but more importantly, I want you to follow these awesome people. Drew and Rich, just nicest people I ever meet. And, we do have a special Dorkening tomorrow. We have special guests. You're hearing it here.
Yes.
JJ Cohen from Back to the Future will be popping in for a little bit during the Dorkening show. But yeah, I do a bunch of shows on the network. Mondays, I do the Creator Spotlight. Tuesdays, I do Splash Pages. Wednesdays, I produce a show for the Still Token Deads. Still Token with guys over at Token Dead. And then I do the Dorkening here. And I will be doing another show on Tuesdays with Dave Russo, comedian in the Northeast here. He's going to be putting together a show that he wants me to be the monkey behind the keyboard on. So look,
how do you find the time for all these shows, man?
I have a very understanding wife, and it's
still Monday to Wednesday, Leo?
Still Monday to Wednesday.
Oh, he's cramming a lot of stuff in.
Yeah.
All right.
With that, we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Yeah, bye. No snakes.